Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Now What Next Steps podcast here at Malibu Pacific Church. Hey, if you haven't listened to this past week's sermon, please press pause now and click back, and you can listen to the sermon so that this podcast makes a little more sense. The podcast is just a supplement to have a deeper dive into the sermon. So if you want to keep listening right now, you can do that too, because I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. Hey, everybody, it's me, Joel, and we have
Andy. Hey, everybody.
Hey, and we are in our first week of Unconditional Hospitality.
Yeah.
So this first week, just the words, Unconditional Hospitality, I think kind of hit to the core of people.
Conditional. Is there such a thing as hospitality with conditions? I don't know.
I think staying at a hotel because you have to pay money.
Oh, okay.
So there are
some things are conditional,
right?
Yes. Yeah.
Pay to play.
I think that's why we put the word unconditional. Yeah.
Oh.
No expectations.
No strings attached?
No strings attached, yeah.
Are you sure about that? Because when
we're going to work on it.
Okay.
We're going to try. We're going to give it a shot.
I'm trying, man. I for some reason, I still feel like if I do something nice for, scratch their back, they'll scratch mine someday, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get rid of that too. So I'm just thankful for this series. So this last week was the big game, which was really fun, with Unconditional Hospitality. And after the service, we had snacks and drinks and all these kinds of things. Do you think that was unconditional hospitality?
Absolutely. I mean, hot dogs are always unconditional. If you weren't here, you missed out. We had the tailgate party after church, and it was hot dogs and some chips and cheese, and I don't know what else. But anyway, it was great. Yeah,
absolutely. And you start off your sermon with the definition of unconditional hospitality, which means giving people more than they expect. So I think they expected hot dogs, but did they expect nachos?
No, that was way above their expectation.
All right, and that's the podcast. So thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, but I actually got that definition from Gilardi. I'm missing his name. He was the restaurant owner, and I went back and watched his video on TED Talk. He was actually rated. And it's called Unreasonable Hospitality. He was actually rated the number one restaurant in the world for a while, and then he was always in the top 50. So I wasn't absolutely correct on his information, but he's the one that said it in that podcast. And I said, there it is.
Oh, nice.
That's the definition. And it's Unreasonable Hospitality. I'm promoting his book. It's outstanding, but it's giving people what they don't expect.
Absolutely. Has there been a time in your life that you experienced unconditional hospitality where the company, the person, giving people more than they expect?
Yeah.
Have you experienced that?
Absolutely. And I shared it at the end of the sermon. And I'll give them a plug. It's called Secrets Resorts. And when we first heard about Secrets, we're like, what? Is this weird? And it's an adults only? Is it going to be, should I even go there? But actually, it means just no kids and it's quiet is what it means. You can actually go to the pool and read. But the way that they greeted us at the pool and helped us find a chair and gave us towels and served us the entire day from morning to night.
Yeah.
I really felt rejuvenated. It made an impact on both of us, my wife and I. And so it was just over the top. I wasn't expecting that. Usually you have to fight for the pool and a seat at the towels and everything.
Used? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they heard us one time say, man, I'd love some ice cream. And they walked by and they heard us and they came by and gave us ice cream cones. They went to the restaurant and just brought it out.
Wow.
Actually, I didn't share this. The second day I said, man, it'd be great to have some tacos like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon before dinner. And it was just over the top. And they brought us some tacos. And they just kept serving us.
Yeah.
And it really fills your tank up. We went there tired and we left after 3 days like feeling totally rejuvenated. And everything they did was just above and beyond our expectation.
Do you feel like the local church does that?
It's horrible. Are you kidding me?
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Wait, aren't you part of the local
Shouldn't that
church?
be the number one thing the local church should be, is giving people unreasonable, unconditional hospitality? Because that's what Jesus did for us. We're horrible.
We should probably give really bad coffee, stale donuts, and be known for saving money on HVAC.
How about this? I go to churches and visit, and nobody will say hi to you. Nobody will greet you. I've actually had people say this about us. and I'm sorry, I'm just speaking to our people here right now, but they visited other churches and they're like, at Malibu Pacific Church, somebody said hi to us, or we went to this church for a year and we walked in and we walked out.
Yep.
And I've had that experience. I know what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
We are horrible at it. So if there's anything about the local church and I'm passionate about is our parking team, our greeters.
Yep.
And if you don't know this, the reason why we have our parking team is not because people need to find a parking space.
Or learn how to park the car.
Or learn how to park a car. They can do that.
Yeah.
It's to greet them. And it came up in our small group last night.
Oh.
People are making decisions within 6 minutes on whether or not they're coming back to a place, a restaurant, a business, a church. And somebody in our small group said, and he's actually on our board, and he said, Andy, I hate to tell you this, but I don't think people come back to our church because of your sermons.
Wow.
Ouch.
Okay. And
Kelly, my wife, said, I agree. They're average. And I said, you're absolutely right, because people are making the decision on whether or not they're coming back within 6 minutes. They have not heard the music. They have not heard the sermon. We way overemphasize. They haven't seen the lights, the screen.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
6 minutes.
So parking lot is key.
It's the most important place.
Walking
and actually our greeters in the Malibu Pacific Kids greeting area they're making their impression right there in that room.
Totally.
That's actually that is actually your nursery and your greeters at the children and student environments when they're checking their kids in is the most important environments of your entire church.
Wow.
You're like, why aren't we growing? They didn't feel any hospitality.
Totally.
So yeah, I'm kind of, if you can tell, I'm a little passionate about it. Then somebody
Didn't sound like it.
Yeah, no, I am a little bit. Somebody said, yeah, I went to this great restaurant in Malibu, and it's always been a great restaurant. And I went, and it just was, the hospitality was very, very average. They made me hurry. They took my bread away before I was done with it. They were kind of made me feel rushed.
So you had a bad experience at McDonald's?
It was McDonald's.
Here in Malibu?
A very good restaurant.
Yeah.
And she said, I decided within, the appetizers, it wasn't hors d'oeuvres, appetizers, that I'm not coming back here anymore.
Wow.
So how long was that? It was a few minutes in.
A few minutes in?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The bread just came out and the water, and it was already, there was no hospitality there or service. And so my husband and I said, yeah, it was great. We've always liked coming here. We're not coming back.
Wow.
So anyway, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. I recently, we went to the Olive Garden. I don't know why, but Olive Garden, they're still around.
Okay.
They're still around. That's why I was like, long story short, Shan and I have actually gone probably 2 or 3 times now in the last couple months because our girls absolutely love it. They think it's the best restaurant in the history of forever.
Too, actually. The free bread and the free
exactly
the free salad.
That was their thing. Yeah. They're like, we can have all you can eat bread.
All you can eat bread,
right? Yeah. And we were there I think it was a week and a half ago, and I had probably the best server I've had in years and years and years. She was constantly coming in and checking in and also giving us space, but then coming over and going above and beyond with our kids too. And it just blew my mind because I was like, oh my gosh, I was not expecting this at an Olive Garden. No knock on Olive Garden. I just wasn't expecting this. It felt like I was at a Michelin star restaurant.
Wow.
And we actually went to the general manager and said, this was just the best service ever. And he goes, I'm so thankful to hear that. I strive for that with all of my employees. And every single night, and this was what was fun about this, he says, we talk about wins of the night before we shut down. And I was like, oh, someone's getting it.
Wow.
And so this general manager is very loved, is what I was told. I actually went online and kind of did a little deep dive. He has this placard outside of the Olive Garden too, on bronze. And I just realized it's oh no, he really cares, and the staff really cares about hospitality.
That's a great illustration. It starts from the top down. We went to a very fancy restaurant. I think it's called Paseo Drive in Palm Springs. Is that Paseo?
Yep.
Kind of the Rodeo Drive. Yep. And went to a very nice, very expensive restaurant. And the hostess was extremely rude, impatient. And then the waitress, the same thing, rude and impatient. And then you go to, so we had that experience, and I just thought, there is a culture going on here, and that's coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just one person having a bad day. You just felt it throughout the whole place, and listening to the waiters and waitresses at the other tables. It's like the culture of hospitality here is just not good, and it's getting filtered down. And then you can go to Chick-fil-A, and they're serving and
exactly. I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah,
there's a culture.
There was a culture there, and that's coming from the manager, the owner of even a Chick-fil-A. Better hospitality at Chick-fil-A at this really expensive restaurant in Palm Springs.
So yeah,
but it came from the leader and the culture that you have.
Absolutely. So you're at a McDonald's again then?
Then I've gone back to McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. No, but I mean, Chick-fil-A, I mean, it's the number one fast food chain now.
Yeah.
And it surpassed McDonald's. It surpassed Subway. I was reading a story about this, and the article was titled "It's My Pleasure," because after every time you say
"Thank you, it's my pleasure,"
it's my pleasure, because they honestly believe that, because it's instilled in them from the top down in the company. It's hey, take pleasure in serving somebody. Like, so have a little joy in that.
Can we have, because you do feel joy when you
oh my gosh, when I serve somebody, it honestly is my pleasure.
It is my pleasure. There's joy in that.
Yeah.
It creates excitement and fun in an organization when people are serving others and giving them what they don't expect. And then you start getting creative. What can I do that's unexpected, unreasonable, and they were blown away by it? That was fun. You know, they didn't expect that at all. But you may want to cut this part out. So I don't know if you're going to hear this or not in the podcast, but going to McDonald's, since you brought it up, a lot of the hospitality is gone, because you go to the computer, do your order, and we went to a place, we were traveling somewhere, went into McDonald's, get a coffee and something and some French fries, went to the computer, ordered. It was a little not complicated, but we wanted to change the order and we couldn't, had to start over, blah, blah, blah. Finally got it, went up to the counter to get our food. The person behind the counter had their back to us the entire time.
Yeah.
Nobody said hello or hi. So I don't know where McDonald's is, because you lose that personal interaction and the hospitality. And we're like, hey, excuse me, we couldn't get it right. Not sure if it's going to come out right. And, we'll see. And they turn their back to us.
Absolutely.
So completely different experience from two fast food restaurants. It's not about fast food. You can still create a culture of hospitality.
No matter where you're at.
We walked out and thought, wow, that was the most inhuman, uncared for experience. I'm not going back.
And some people might think that, but that's way more efficient. Like, if we were to do that, but I don't think efficiency is the key to hospitality.
No, they're trying to save money.
Exactly.
But you're going to lose money because you're losing in hospitality, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to put that in there, but...
Well, we'll keep it in this time, because McDonald's might come after us, but it's okay.
I know. I'm a little worried about that. They can call and I can help with some advice or be a consultant. Not.
Go to Chick-fil-A, just not on a Sunday.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we're talking about. These are we experience these all day long.
So what is your hope for Malibu Pacific Church in the regards of hospitality?
Yeah, that every person we meet, and the one thing that we talked about this last week was acceptance. Is you accept a customer, and I don't feel like I did very well explaining that part, but it's like a football that you're reaching out, and that's hospitality. And the word acceptance literally means accept one another, is to reach out and pull in.
Yes.
So I thought that was a great illustration of what hospitality is doing, is I'm reaching out. I'm saying hello. I am reaching out. And then inviting you in. I'm going to dive into it a little bit more this week, but the word hospitality is also the same word of hospital. So you're reaching out and helping people, bringing them in, making outsiders feel like insiders is another definition that we use here at the church.
Yeah.
So my hope, bottom line, and the only people hearing this are going to hear this, but it's in our culture with the staff, but we don't say it very often. We want people to belong before they believe.
Yeah.
So to feel like you belong means hospitality is making you feel at home, accepted.
Yes.
At home. I don't know how else to say it. Maybe you could help me. It's feel at home.
Totally.
Yeah.
You shouldn't walk into the place feeling like you're walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
Am I wanted around here?
Yeah.
Do I belong? Why isn't anybody talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm already am I a stranger? Like, can I be seen here?
Seen is huge.
Yeah.
When you're home, you're seen.
Totally.
You're with your people. You're with your tribe.
Yep. You can put your feet up.
You can put your feet up.
Yeah.
You can be you.
Yes.
You can be real, authentic. So we're using a lot of words to describe what I want for every church, but I'm not the pastor of every church, but I am the pastor here. At least Malibu Pacific Church is known for unconditional hospitality, which all of those words are descriptive.
Absolutely. And I want to say a big shout out and thanks to everybody who prayed, donated their time, donated funds to make the father, daughter, and mother, son dances happen.
It was a huge hit.
I can't even
come to church this weekend and hear.
You're going to hear, and online too. We'll have some stuff too. It just how many lives were changed, or how many people said, "Wow, I cannot believe a church would do that for our community."
Yeah.
And even one that's even better is that I love that this church is in our community.
Oh, that's
we
great.
are becoming a part. I mean, we've always been a part of Malibu, but let's be honest. Like,
if we disappeared, would they miss us?
Would they miss us if we closed our doors today? And I'm really thinking, and I'm knowing that yes, if we went
People
away,
would say, "Man, we miss that church."
Well, let's rally around them. They're part of they're Malibu,
Yeah.
you know, and that's kind of a hard thing to do in this town. And I've realized that over my 10 years of living here too, that I'm now just starting to have friendships with people because they had kind of like the "what do you want from me" kind of a deal. But if you just keep coming at it with unconditional hospitality, same thing. So like, I'm not tooting my own horn, but like every Thursday morning, a couple friends, we go and open car doors for the elementary school.
Great. That's hospitality.
We bring down bubbles, we bring down music. And this morning, the Santa Monica superintendent was there. And we were setting up, and our principal, Ted, was there too. If you know Ted, he's a good, amazing principal. And he is like, "Yeah, I invited you down here on a Thursday because I wanted to show you what our parents do as the kids enter school." And it was one of these like shake hands, high five. And the superintendent was like, "How can we do this and replicate this at every single school in the Santa Monica school district?" And all I did was bring a bubble machine and a speaker for music and high-fived kids and complimented them. Nice shoes,
How hard is
nice
that?
backpack that the kids are looking for. Then the parents are like, "I fight with my spouse to drop off the kids on Thursday because I know it's going to be easier for them to get out of the car." And
They're going to love it.
And all it was 75 cents of bubbles, some music, and that wasn't the thing. I think that kind of brought down the wall. The biggest thing was just the kids were all being seen while they got out of the car. They got a high five. They got a happy Thursday. You got this. It's almost the weekend. And they run through the bubbles and they're like champions. So I want to be that, and I feel like Malibu Pacific Church is in such an amazing place to be that for the community. So talking about the father-daughter dance, mother-son dance, what are some other ways you think that we can champion this community?
Well, I mean, there's a ton of ways. I mean, we've been supporting the local businesses, but I just think being present. I mean, just what you said right there, just seeing people, saying hi to people, engaging in conversation, being nice. It just doesn't take any money.
Oh,
It doesn't take any. There's no cost to us.
Yeah.
And so I think we keep exploring that. We keep doing things in our community. I mean, we keep supporting different programs, events, and different things. But for me, it's just very organic with every human interaction that we have an attitude, a spirit of reaching out and accepting, listening, and being present.
Absolutely.
Because the guy who is the owner of this restaurant, the 11th Street, I'm butchering it now, Park Avenue, 11th Park Avenue restaurant in New York. I mean, one of his points is if you truly are with a customer and you listen, you actually can cater the meal and you can actually give them something that's unexpected, unreasonable, that they weren't expecting. or every real estate agent. Here's another one. I mean, as you get to know a customer, you listen to what their needs are. And his example is, instead of having a bottle of wine at the counter when they go into their new home, and you listen that my wife loves to do yoga, and how about buying her a yoga mat on their first day when you give them the keys and some flowers and saying, hey, I know that you love yoga. I hope you can see yourself now doing yoga in your new home.
Yes.
So it's listening to the customer and seeing them, or whoever it is, and customize. It's not one size fits all. It's one size fits one.
Yeah.
And
that's huge for hospitality.
Huge for hospitality. Yeah. Listen to people. And I love what you said, being present. That's what you're doing with the school. You're just being present.
I'm here to help.
I'm here to help. Yeah.
Yeah.
And serving and high-fiving people.
What can I do? Yeah.
You're saying to every child, we see you. You're important. You're valuable.
Yes.
You matter.
Yeah.
And we're your cheerleaders.
Absolutely.
There's a lot going on. Just that 1 minute high five going in with music.
20 minutes a week. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
20 minutes. And
you're important. You're valuable. You matter.
Yeah.
We love you. We're your cheerleaders. Go get them today.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what our parking lot does. Maybe we should add bubbles. I don't know.
Ooh, bubbles and music out there. Why not?
Why not?
That's where it starts.
That's where it starts.
Actually, everybody, that's where the idea began on the podcast. Yeah.
Perfect. Romans 12:13, at the very end of the entire story, is just practice hospitality. Practice hospitality. When you're sharing the story of Jesus having dinner at Levi's house, I think that was a huge, huge win of hospitality because, I mean, did anybody really want to go to Levi's house? Did anybody even like Levi?
Total.
No, none whatsoever.
No, he's a traitor.
Oh, completely. He's scum of the earth.
Because he's taking money from his own people and giving it to the Roman government to help them keep Roman occupation.
Absolutely.
And there's chances are, from what I've read in history, they knew somebody who was killed by a Roman soldier.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're the enemy and you're supplying the funds for the enemy. You're working for the enemy.
Yep.
And Jesus is having dinner at their house.
Yeah.
I mean, culturally, I can't even think of something, that in our society, when they said, how can Jesus be sitting with them? I mean, the them is bad. Yeah. He's with them, sinners and tax collectors.
Do you
He's
think
eating with them?
Do you think we still struggle as a people with the them?
Who's the them
complex
in your world?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Who's the them?
Yeah.
And if you went and had lunch or dinner with them and people saw you with them and they're going to be talking about you, are you willing to make them your friends? Yeah.
For sure.
And hang with them.
Is that where we had lunch yesterday?
Yeah, that's right. We had lunch. I had lunch with Joel yesterday. He's the them. I was worried about what people would be thinking.
Oh, man.
No, but people who were unlike Jesus, far away from God, unholy sinners, felt very comfortable with Jesus, the holies of holies, the Son of God who never sinned, and who was right in his theology. And he could have lectured them, but he chose to win their heart.
Well, what about the deep dive theologians who thought they were right and thought Jesus was doing it wrong?
That's what's amazing, isn't it? Jesus kept correcting the Pharisees or the theologians, saying, your theology is wrong.
Yes.
Now, I have to give Andy Stanley credit for this one here. If your theology, quote, is keeping you from doing ministry, you have bad theology.
Ooh.
And it's true.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, it's true.
If your theology is saying you can't be with them and you can't do ministry or wash people's feet or hang out with them, you got bad theology.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Go change your theology. Go read the Bible. How's that? So, there's nothing in the Bible. Jesus came into this world and served us, was hospitable to us, ate with us. So that's who our leader is. So if there is something we're saying we can't do, well, we're not following that leader. That's why I love that passage that we talked about this last week, because we should have unity, the same mindset of our Savior, Jesus.
Absolutely.
So if something's keeping us or dividing us, saying us and them, well, we're not reading the Bible. We're actually not following Jesus.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. So I like the saying that you've said a couple times is the don't should on people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe we can ask ourselves that. Are we shooting on people? Or are we saying, I can't talk to them, or they don't belong? Who's the they? Who's the them? And what's keeping you from doing ministry?
That's right.
You know?
Right.
Wow, that's a lot to digest.
Yep.
And I think we're going to digest a little bit
A
more.
little more this week. Let's do it.
In Conditional Hospitality, session 2 happening this Sunday, 10 a.m. on site and online. A lot of fun things that are planned for this month too. And we just want to say thank you again for listening to the podcast. Please subscribe and hit that subscribe button and share it with somebody that you know. And on top of that, if you found this information helpful, let us know. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or hand gestures, please send them in to me, Joel, at malibupacific.church. We'd love to answer those on the show. So thank you so much, everybody, and have an amazing week. We'll see you for session 2 of Unconditional Hospitality.
See you there.
This
Take
Sunday.
care.